Hi, this is Nick here at SaratogaWine.com with a real special treat today. I am joined by Sarah Lovrien. She is a spirit specialist, and she is bringing some fantastic, and I never ever thought I would say this, Mezcals. I am not traditionally someone who has really appreciated Mezcal in the past, and now I know why, and this is unequivocally proving me wrong. So I'm very excited to share these today because these changed my whole perception of Mezcal. Sarah, take it away.
I love that you say that because it's exactly how I felt when I tried this first mezcal. So both of these mezcals, just to give us a little bit of background, are coming from the same house. This is coming from Agave de Cortez.
Okay.
The Cortez family, who has been doing mezcal production for multiple generations. I believe we're either the fourth or the fifth generation now.
Wow. Okay.
And they really specialize in this beautiful, collection of brands that really lean into craft mezcal and also even lean into batches. They partner with Maestros Mezcaleros.
Okay.
And so these are our master distillers that are making the mezcals.
So much more attention to detail, right?
Exactly.
And then remind us real quick, what are the key differences between Mezcal and tequila?
Yeah, so a lot of people think that mezcal is just the smoky tequila, which is a little bit misleading,
That was my experience with it before.
It is the one-liner description that a lot of people use. They're used to those really, really big smoke bombs, similar to what we'd experience with like a single malt, like an High Island Scotch.
Right.
Mezcal, has a couple of different things. What we like to remind people is that, all tequilas are technically mezcals, but not all mezcals are tequilas.
Okay.
And so the main kind of bullet points that you can always use to kind of guide, which one is which, is that tequila and mezcal, are usually made in different regions of the world.
Okay.
The largest region that people know tequila production for is Jalisco. You can actually make it in 5 different regions,
okay.
But Jalisco is our most known. And then mezcal, it can actually be made in 9 different regions in Mexico. Okay. So Oaxaca is the one that we most know.
So my wine brain looks at it like, say, different subregions of Bordeaux or Napa.
It's exactly the same,
okay.
exactly that same idea as, we're giving that geographical designation
Cool.
to where, yes, that is very, very specific. It does need to be made in those areas.
Right.
The other big difference here is the type of agave that we're using. So the species very much matter. Tequila is really just known for Blue Weber agave.
Right.
That's it. Whereas mezcal, you have dozens of varieties of agave that you can dive into. The one that we most know is Espadín, and that's the most common, big plant. So it's very, very easy for folks to make mezcal from there.
Yeah.
And then lastly is going to be, the method of production. So, mezcal is known for using these, earthen pits to do these cooks of the agave, the piñas. Whereas tequila is a little bit more industrialized. You're doing a similar sort of thing where you're harvesting, but your cook and how you're actually going to make that tequila is going to be very different. Often people, in the larger productions use something like an autoclave, and then others are using different kind of stills. Okay.
So this is like more of a down home, personalized.
This is this
approach.
Rustic traditional kind of production, which is why everybody
and there's
loves
a romance
it so
to
much.
that, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's cool.
Of the 2 brands that we're doing, we're going to start off with Nuestra Soledad. So the Cortez family wanted to utilize a way to show people that terroir actually has a really, really big effect on mezcal production. Okay. And so Nuestra Soledad actually partners with different mezcaleros in 6 different villages. And so each one of these is representing a different village. And the one that we're going to be tasting today is San Balthazar. Okay. And so this one is made 100% Espadín, as all the Nuestra Soledad products are. But this one is led by Gregorio Martinez, who we lovingly called Don Goyo.
Okay.
And Don Goyo has been producing mezcal for a long time. He's got a very, very distinct style. And his representation of Espadín for Nuestra Soledad is a really, really cool example of mezcal kind of surprising you. He really liked to surprise people.
Right.
And this is actually the mezcal that made me love mezcal.
And I think right off the rip, it's much more clean than you would expect it to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
That there's all these like really fine aromatics going on. I'm thinking like cigar wrapper and I mean some fruits and dried fruits coming through, but it's not that smoke bomb,
It doesn't,
traditional mezcal that you would think of.
It doesn't smell like something is on fire. It doesn't smell like a campfire. Not even close. I almost get like a blue cheese element, which is, I think, some people pick up on this kind of lactic element there.
Not overly pungent, but it's there in the background.
Yeah, it's like you can tell that there's something going on there. But you're right, lots of fruit, and also which is kind of why I love Del Goyo's batches in particular. You can smell all of the roses and the lime trees that grow around the distillery, his palenque.
Oh my God, wow.
And yeah, it's like all of that yeast, of course, goes into the product as well. And so
that's like a true product of terroir, right? Like it's really incorporating all of its surroundings into it.
It's true.
It's fascinating.
It's true. Yeah, it's a real labor of love. And I've got to say, where his palenque is, you know, this is an area that is not easily reached. There are no paved roads that get there. And again, you know, it's like the entire family is involved in this production. So Don Goyo's, you know, family, his sons, his grandsons as well, also help with this production. So.
I love this, which is like crazy to me because I typically just, you know, I would steer away from mezcal. I don't like that overly smoky style. And it's fascinating. Like my wine brain just wants to smell it for an hour.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, it's fun.
It's lovely.
It's really lively too. It's like we refer to this one as kind of the Riesling of the Nuestra Soledad products because it kind of gives us that little bit of like little peek in the cheeks, you know, and yeah,
very versatile, right? Yeah,
very, very fun, and yeah, it really, really opens up with time. Each sip that you take, you get a little bit something else.
Yeah, a little wintergreen coming through. It's a fascinating mezcal, and I'm kind of geeking out about these.
Yeah, yeah. And so, but as we transition to the next one, you know, I do want to mention, you know, unfortunately, we unfortunately lost Don Goyo in November of 2023. You know, he was a beloved figure for not only the Cortez family, he was the second non-family member that they started working with. Okay. But he was a beloved figure in Mezcal society.
So it's like this bottle is like a tragic romance.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, it's with San Balthazar, it's also going to be the last time that we'll see this label from Nuestra Soledad. So even before we talk about our limited edition, this is actually going to eventually no longer be a product out in the market. Out of respect for him, and knowing that nobody can quite do it the same way, they're going to be retiring this label. And so this will be actually the last of this batch. And then they'll move on to a new village and they'll find a new maestro to work with.
I mean, that truly is a tragic romance.
Yeah, yeah.
So you heard it here. These are going away.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, you know, then jumping into our feature from El Jogoryo. So same again, you know, coming from the Cortez family, these are the ones that drive this ship. And again, partnering with Don Goyo on this really, really special bottle. So El Jogoryo, you know, while Nuestra Soledad focuses on terroir and that craft process, El Jogoryo takes it up a notch. So this is where we're actually, you know, we're incorporating different areas. We're incorporating that terroir. We're partnering with those different maestros, but then we're also incorporating all of these different species that are involved in mezcal production. Yeah. And so while we had Espadín features with the Nuestra Soledad, we're actually now going to move on to a really, really special plant called Tepestate. Okay. And you know, by contrast, you know, all of these different species are going to vary in size, shape, and how many years they take to mature. Right. Espadín, you know, usually you're hitting maturity around like 7 years or so. Tepestate takes 20 to 30 years. Really, you know, it really is an investment in time, and there's a true belief to not rush, and that's kind of what makes these things so special.
And by quick comparison to Blue Weber for tequila is typically, what, 3 to 8 years, right?
Yeah, yeah, and you know, it's like on the younger side, you know, usually you'll see kind of, you know, more volume being produced, more in an industrial setting, and yeah, those that really want to do that, like really doing it right, they will get it to that full maturity before they harvest. And so yeah, these guys are doing that. They're not rushing.
Yeah, and then this is up to 4 times longer than that. Just to put that into perspective.
Yeah, it's a wild one. So yeah, El Jogoryo bottles in general are super special. We do love the batch, you know, and each of them vary in size. You'll notice that, you know, each one has some sort of collection to it, collectible, you know, kind of moment to it, just because of the maestro that might be involved. Now with this one is, of course, very special to us because Don Goyo had a hand in it. It was also apparently one of the last batches that he made before he died. We were very honored to be able to have access to that batch. Right. And so this is actually a private selection, a 9-4 selection, and it's a particularly small batch because only 180 bottles were made ever.
Oh, wow.
And I do want to say that, you know, it's really special.
Some of them.
Yeah, and while it's, you know, obviously that's really special, you know, it's like on the El Jogoryo bottles, you'll notice that there's, you know, all of our wonderful tech. It tells you all about, you know, how the batch was harvested, how it was cooked, how old the plant was. And then, of course, telling you about the batch. So it does have
And
the bottle
number.
numbers.
Yeah.
This happens to be bottle number 1, which is pretty
incredible.
special. I've never actually had a first bottle before, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, so this one is really, really special to us. Don Goyo had a way of surprising people. And so Tepestate is like a very particular set of, like cream and fruit, typically on its flavor profile. With Don Goyo's batch of the Tepestate, he really is like just throwing us one more wild card. And he did like to surprise people and kind of like surpass their expectations.
Okay.
So I'm really interested to hear about your thoughts on this one and all the different elements of flavor that you're getting.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's not gonna 100% fit inside that box.
Okay. I mean, the first, 4 times I smelled it here just now, I get a floral component. I get this kind of like cherry blossom thing going on. I'm almost getting like a tangerine citrus note. There's a little saltiness coming through as well. It's mild and supremely complex. Like it's even more complex than this, and I thought this was, just very nuanced. Like this to me is, there's not a sharp edge in sight,
No, yeah, and I do have to say that, comparatively, it's like the El Jogorrios, these are our premium line, from the Cortez family. And so this is really where the Maestros can show what they do. And so, getting these batches, especially these really small, like tiny batches like this are something special. Yeah,
it's smooth as silk. Yeah.
It's wild, right? It's like you're getting, again, like all that fruit and that floral. If you go back to for a second smell after that, you're almost getting like kind of like fields of grass. It's like these beautiful green leaves.
Little grassy kind of herbal note coming through.
But then, it's like on the, it's a very elegant mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Not sharp, you're right. It's very soft.
There's almost a touch of sweetness on the nose.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. And I attribute that really to the Tepestate. Obviously, Don Goyo's process is very, very unique.
Yeah.
He really likes to let his agave lay out a lot longer than normal after it's cooked. And so his develops, a very, very specific flavor profile because of that process.
Yeah.
And he believes that is the best way to get the best mezcal. And again, it does tend to surprise you in the final product.
Right. Well, these are 2 absolutely incredible versions of Artisanal Mezcal. You can find them on our site. They are live right now. Some great other selections of mezcal, Sarah's selections as well. And, keep checking out these videos because we have some really awesome content coming. We have great people like yourself coming and introducing and changing our minds on, entire series of spirits, and it's fascinating. That's part of the job that I love. So. No,
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled that you guys love it, and we're thrilled to be able to help, show people these brands and these products because there's a lot of great stuff out there.
Awesome. 180 bottles for the world. -1 because I'm buying one, and actually -2 because here's number 1 right here. So get them while you can because literally there will be no more. So Sarah, absolute pleasure. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.